Hare Krishna. Is anybody, how do you see the recording?
Hare Krishna. So we have our special guest today, Kantaya Prabhu, and he's going to be sharing some realizations about Bhagavad Gita, first and second chapter, and I'll be asking some questions to him. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Welcome. And as the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and I understand that this meeting is not very regular, but regular or unregular, these are the words of God. So we should treasure these moments with the sound vibration of the Gita. The Gita is the essence of all the Upanishads. So I will read the verse from the second chapter. This is text 40. Nehabdikrama nashusti devayum viditi swapamakya dharmasya prayati mahatubhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. And little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of God. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can that small beginning be lost at any stage. Any work begun on the material plane has to be completed. Otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results, so that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in the material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit. Ajamil performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in this connection, Srimad Bhagavatam. Swadharmam charanam bhujamare bhajana bhagavata tato yadi yatra pravavadramma buddhamushakim kuvarta abhajatam swadharmata. It's from Bhagavatam 1:5-17. This is Narada speaking. If someone gives up self-gratificatory pursuits and works in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? And what can one gain if one performs his material activities perfectly? Or, let's finish up the translation. Or, as the Christians say, what profiteth a man if he gain the whole world, yet suffers the loss of his eternal soul? Their activities and their results end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries the person again to Krishna consciousness even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life of being born again as a human being, either in the family of a great cultural Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family. That will give one a further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. Okay, so this verse, in one sense, is reassuring, but we should not take this reassurance as an excuse to be slack. In other words, sometimes we make statements and we need to understand the aim of the statement. So the aim of the statement is, one aim of the statement is to emphasize the value of Krishna consciousness. Because one may say, well, if I don't get to perfection, I will be lost. But Krishna say, no, whatever you do in this path will not be lost. So at the same time, obviously, Krishna is not encouraging us to fall down from the path. If you're falling down, there's always an element of pain, there's always an element of misery, there's always an element of delay, there is always an element of loss. So, what does it mean, fall down? One sense, technically, fall down means forgetting Krishna or failing to follow our vows.
That's a question.
Mm.
So, that I remember that we wrote the song once. Don't gain the world and lose the soul. Wisdom is better than silver and gold. One who came 500 years ago, you can ask the Lord to take control. So that what you just read in the purport, the prophet is saying, there's a Christian expression, don't lose the soul, gain the world. So it's like all the zeros are like material accomplishments, material feelings, and number is Krishna. Why am I still attracted to the zeros? Why is it that knowing that devotional service is never lost, why is it that I am still attracted by Maya and I'm not attracted to Krishna and Krishna consciousness, who I actually belong to? And it's actually everything there, everything done there is never lost. Why am I still attracted to this flickering, illusory experiences of this world?
Because Maya is also Krishna.
Ayamitam tarantite.
Because Maya is an energy of Krishna, and all the energies of Krishna are attractive. So in this world, there is competition between attractions. We may be attracted to Krishna, but we may be attracted also to the material energy, which is also divine energy. This is an energy of God. So it's not surprising that we are attracted by Maya, because Maya is also a Krishna. Just like we watch a movie, in one sense we know it's false. The actors are just paid to do different roles, to express different emotions, and we know that of it's just like a theater. It's a play. It's not real. At the same time, we like to see, because those are reflections of real lives, of real adventures. Even in the movie, there's no real adventure. There are only people basically playing a role, but because they resemble the real attraction or the real heroes, then we are attracted, we watch. Although we know that this is not real, there is a scene of fear. We know it's not real. People are sitting around with the cameras, with the equipment, and there's no real danger, but we get absorbed.
So we know that the soul basically knows that I'm actually attracted to something flickering and illusory, but still I want.
Well,
Is
it
it
depends on the
ignorance?
soul. Some
Uh-huh.
people don't know anything better, so they think that this is a reality, and this is what I was talking about. Is a devotee may know theoretically, but if he doesn't have the taste for Krishna consciousness, that's why I'm saying that there is a tussle, a war between the two attractions. And at the beginning, it takes determination.
And is it like mercy of Krishna that we choose Maya instead of Krishna, we suffer? Is that like a way of Krishna's mercy to make us go to him? Is that how it works? Does he punish us for choosing Maya?
We are punishing ourselves. It's like if I put a hand in the fire, I get burned. It's not like just the nature of things. Maya, by definition, is that which is not, or doesn't have a real permanent
right.
permanent existence.
So it's like exact opposite of what you were saying, right? Like Krishna is saying, whatever you do in the path, spiritual path is never lost. Whereas in the material life, it is lost, definitely lost. Everything, right? Relationships, money, everything in this material world, when it's done, it's gone. But whereas Krishna is like a person who keeps the perfect track of everything we do. Right? That's like the duality. In this world, it's like the duality. Whereas in the transcendental realm, there is nothing is lost. Right?
Yes, because the material life is like a dream, so you cannot keep the dream. Sometimes we make a nice dream and we think, when we wake up, we want to go back to that dream. We cannot. Or even if we can, even if we could, still the dream doesn't last. So material life has the consistency of a dream. So definitely the nature of dream is that it's illusory in the sense of we take it for the walk in reality, and then obviously whatever attachment we establish in the dream will be terminated or frustrated, because this world is just a combination of atoms which are always in movement. So there's nothing really to gain control of, to take shelter in.
Yeah. So basically, the way whenever I'm looking for something in this world, I'm basically kind of like attempting to look for substitutes to what I already have within me, which is like relationship with Krishna. Is that right? Understanding?
Yes, we love ourselves because Krishna loves himself, and it's a nature of the law of the self to love. That's like an expression of the Ladini Shakti of Krishna. But Krishna is infinite, and his Ladini Shakti manifests as the gopis and the many loving devotees. Now, our Ladini Shakti, or our, say, the manifestation, the expression of the Ladini Shakti, either if it's not directed toward Krishna, is directed toward loving our body, our mind, our ideas, even a football team or a cricket team. So that's a reflection of the real love. But if we don't have the object of the real love, then we will love transient things.
So again, I really want to kind of bring back to that point of substitutes. The attempt of the jiva to look for substitute is okay. I understand your point that even the energy of the Lord, like Duryodhana, right? He chose the army of the Lord, which represents the energy of the Lord. So also Krishna's energy. So it's not separate from him. Everything is under the control of Krishna. He's Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I get that point. But my point is again bringing back to that, don't try to bring that focus of why, how do we stop looking for substitutes in this? And how do I stay with that everlasting, eternal benefits that Krishna is speaking in this verse, instead of looking for substitutes, instead of knocking on the doors of mortals? Why is it that I keep, how do I keep myself from going there and instead reach to association of devotees and Krishna to actually find that eternal benefit that they're speaking of? You know what I mean? Like, if you can just answer that about substitutes. How do I avoid looking for substitutes? Because I understand that that's also the energy of Krishna, but that doesn't mean that I should go there. It's just a substitute. It's not a real thing. It's temporary.
So, point is this. By experiencing something in this world, we create some status, we create impressions.
Mm-hmm.
And that those impressions create vasanas, desires. So that means that's the meaning of conditioned souls. We're conditioned to think in a certain way and to act in a certain way. So it's like a road. We go there every day. Now, the road is say broken or blocked, but we are so conditioned we go there anyway. So we need to remind ourselves the road is blocked, the road is broken, we cannot go. Otherwise, the conditioning is to go anyway, because we've always gone through this road. So even though we may have heard, oh no, don't go there because it's blocked, it's broken, you can't pass through. We may forget. So the point is that we need to remind ourselves that these are what we call substitutes or surrogates. We need to remind ourselves. It's just like somebody who gets up every morning and does certain things. Like for instance, you reach for your toothpaste, but then it's finished because you forgot. You knew that actually was finished, but you forgot that it was finished, and then you only kind of remember when you need it. So similarly, we forget because we are not too. What happened is that we are not too careful in protecting ourselves. So we expose ourselves. First of all, there are the internal drives, and then when we associate with other people who are so enthusiastic about the material energy, obviously that rubs off on us.
Oh my God, that's so true. Actually, it just happened to me today. I was looking at a couple of friends, which are not like sadhaka types, and immediately my mind was like affected, and I could see how that. So, what's the way to protect that? And you also mentioned something about internal drives. Can you say something about what is it? What are those internal drives?
Are the desires that we have developed because of the taste that we have experienced. So it's like we are between two orbits. We are from the orbits of Maya, and we need to enter into the orbit of Krishna. And at the beginning, and by the beginning I mean 10,000 lives. At the beginning, we are still attracted to the other orbit, the gravitational pull in two different directions. So it's a question of choice. It's a question of choice. It's a question of making the choice, confirming the choice, renewing the choice every day, every hour. There's no other alternatives because the world, especially nowadays, it can offer us anything we want, just with, at least in terms of sounds and forms, we can offer anything we want with a click. So the point is this: people, not the materialistic people, are obtuse, means they are covered, they're, they're in darkness, and they are very enthusiastic in this world.
Mm.
They're enthusiastic, meaning they have aspirations, either in the different modes. Somebody has aspiration to kill themselves. Still is an aspiration, it's a desire. And people want to build a company, some people want to build a business, some people want to build a family. Even some people want to build degrees and knowledge, mundane knowledge and PhDs. So everybody's enthusiastic about
Mm.
this dream, which has no substance.
Mm.
So if we want to practice seriously Krishna consciousness, we had to cut, not because we are thinking we are superior, but because we're thinking we are inferior.
Mm.
We are inferior in the sense that that influence is stronger than us. We cannot just watch any movie, go to any site, listen to any song, and then think, no, my Krishna consciousness will not be affected. It will be affected. In fact, the fact that you go there, it's already a show that has been affected. So anytime we show we show our choice, well, that's where we are. You know, they
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
they say that character means what you do when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Because you know, in public we may
Pretend.
maintain not pretend, but we maintain a level of civility or even a certain level of God consciousness, like that. Because we live in a society of devotees, we kind of align to what's accepted. When we are alone, then really our nature comes through, and then we can test ourselves. What's our attraction? Not only what's our attraction, but are we channeling that attraction in the right direction? It's a personal choice.
So yeah, isn't that like the crux of the whole existence in this world? I was given a choice. I mean, being like kind of in a marginal energy level, marginal meaning tatasta, like not belonging to the spiritual world yet, but I don't belong to this material world either. I'm somewhere in the middle, and then I'm given a choice. I can either choose spiritual or material, and I've chosen Maya, and that's why I'm here in this world, right? It's like the choice. This is free will, right? I'm using my free will to choose Maya. And is it just really just one thought that okay, I choose Krishna? Is that going to really bring me to Krishna?
See, it's like if you decide to pursue a certain path, say to become a doctor. Certainly, your initial determination, desire should be strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
You say, okay, I really want to become a doctor, but obviously, it's not enough. It's not at the time you say, I want to become a doctor, the college gives you a degree. So you have to confirm and build up that desire. Because maybe the first time you do an autopsy, and you feel I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
look into this body full of blood and pus and this and that. And so many people stop right there. Or there are so many big books of anatomy, physiology, pathology. So you need to reconfirm your desire. That was desire. It was a desire, but then you have to reconfirm. So we come to a point to say, oh, it would be nice to be Krishna conscious, Krishna Loka, the cows and the purpose. Okay, but then we need to reconfirm. So similarly, to become a physician, you need to reconfirm. You have to study those books. You have to go through those exams. You have to spend those maybe nights. I'm not saying you should study at night, but I'm just saying it's those nights on the books and memorizing all those muscles and all those nerves and all those diseases and all those medicines and all those ingredients and all those bones. You have to do the work, and you have to reconfirm your desire. You have to show that you are really desirous. Otherwise, so many people starts the school of physician, but they don't complete. So many devotees, as we read today, they start the path of bhakti, but they may not complete in one life because they did not reconfirm the desire. You see so many people, you see the photos of initiation, they're so cute and so clean, and they have a new sari, a new dhoti, and shave that. And you see that after 10 years, 5 years, or 20 years, they have beards, and they give up. They give up the principle. They give up the chanting, and they live ordinary lives. But their desire was genuine. Just that we did not reconfirm the desire. It's a reconfirmation.
Yeah, it's like every day waking up with that affirmation of I want to be Krishna conscious. I choose Krishna. I am Krishna's. Maivam Shoji belong to Krishna. It's like a confirmation.
And the Bhakti Yoga gives us the possibility, the access to, I mean, we may not have to say formally this affirmation, but we demonstrate it by doing the things which we are supposed to do. And that's the proof. It's just like, to take an exam, it's just, not just say, I want to take this exam. You get to study, prepare, show up, and finish in time and all that. So similarly, we do have our daily exams. Which, first of all, complete the basics. Say if you're initiated, you complete your 60 rounds. Within that, there is the exam of quality, concentration, of focus. It's another exam. So you pass the first, you pass the second, then you need to listen. Are you listening to lectures? Are you reading books? Are you doing devotional service? Are you treating Vaishnavas and others nicely? Are you eating only prasadam? So every step of the way are exams. Now, for somebody who studied a lot and who is intelligent, exam is actually, it's even pleasurable because you know things, you just tick boxes and the right answer, it's a it's not the source of pain or fear or bewilderment. But if you're not studying, it would be every exam would be a nightmare. So similarly, somebody is healthy spiritually, is not thinking, should I chant, should I not chant? No, what should I do with my time? Should I watch this or should I watch that? If somebody is healthy spiritually, it doesn't have that. Just like a student, if it's a serious student, is not thinking, should I study or should I go or watch a movie? Or obviously, if a serious student, he knows what he or she knows what they have to do.
Yeah, they're fixed upon the goal.
Well, it's not just fixing upon the goal, but there is a daily practice, there's daily discipline, because disciple means discipline.
Oh my God, I don't have that. I really struggle with it. All right, we have Deepa and Sananda on with us live. If you have any questions, Deepa, shoot. We cannot hear you.
Sorry, I missed quite a lot of it. So I've only got the last 5 minutes or so. But the only thing that did come up for me, I think you probably answered it, is material aspirations. We can give a lot to that, but somehow spiritual aspirations are kind of laid back. So I was just.
She's saying that material aspirations, it comes kind of naturally, this stronger. But to have spiritual aspirations, it's harder.
What do you mean by spiritual aspirations?
What do you mean by spiritual aspirations?
That if you want to do certain things, like let's say you're chanting and you're reading and all that, it just takes a lot more focus than when you want to do material things like go out and earn money and be good at something. And
yeah, that's true.
It depends on the nature of people. We all have influence of the different gunas. So obviously, if somebody is really under strong influence of tamas, for him, even going and making money would be very hard. Somebody who is in tamaguna can't go beyond sleeping, oversleeping, or taking drugs, taking sheltering substances, like that. Yes, for somebody in passion, who has energy, who has health, they may have some ambitions. And that's where the knowledge comes about.
Mm.
Mm.
To act in knowledge or to act just on instinct.
Mm.
But it's just not the knowledge, is it? Because even when
Huh?
you get some knowledge, it's not just the knowledge, is it? Even when you get some knowledge, but like you said, it's what you are as a person. So I'm having difficulty with spiritual things is because I haven't got enough satya. Is it satya?
She said it's not
Yeah.
just knowledge. Well, no, it's not just knowledge that gives us. We may know it.
It
but
gives
still,
us what?
whatever the inspiration to continue in that direction. But it's like what you were saying, every day reminding ourselves that it's not only knowledge. What is it? Yeah, I have that question. What is it?
What is it? What? If we could complete the question, what is it? What?
See, I mean, no, I've heard. I did Bhakti Shastra, I did Bhakti Vaibhav, hear
But
from
that's what,
classes.
see, that's what
That's
I,
knowledge.
that
Yeah.
was I was speaking about before. Maybe, yeah.
You're saying it's a nature, right? It's the nature of the person.
No,
But-
I didn't say that.
Oh.
No. I said before you came, I was discussing that the concept of knowledge. We may have knowledge, but we need to be reminded of the knowledge. In other words, knowledge can be covered. Remembrance can be covered. Memory can be bewildered. So we need to remind ourselves of that knowledge. And that's a personal desire. Some people have the desire, some people have the desire for some time, some people have the desire for all their life. But desire is like a fire. It can be cultivated, it can be left to extinguish itself. But if you keep putting wood or whatever fuel you're using, then the fire can go on and on and on. There are fires that go on forever, hundreds of years, because people keep the fire going. So that fire, you can call it of knowledge, you can call it of illumination, you can call it orientation, or you can call it just Krishna consciousness, needs to be rekindled every day, because every day we go to sleep, we go to tamas, we get up, and we need to rekindle that knowledge. But knowledge is not just information. Knowledge meaning knowing one's own duty, knowing one's own identity, knowing one's own dharma, and knowing one's direction. So it's like, say, in traditional kitchen, you got to rekindle that fire every day. You got to go take the wood, put it inside the kitchen, and then rekindle it every day. If you don't rekindle, okay, you don't eat, or you don't need to cook food. So similarly, if we don't keep rekindling that desire, you call it knowledge, you call it desire, you can call it clarity, you can call it objectivity. If we don't work on rekindling all that, then of course, without light, it's darkness. Because the default setting is darkness, meaning mental darkness. If we don't keep putting the light back, the default setting is darkness. Because this world is darkness. This world is avidya. It's the nature of this world to cover the soul. So it's a constant work until it becomes a habit, until it becomes spontaneous, until we have some taste.
So are you saying we take to darkness more so because we're in a material world?
I'm saying that that's a default setting. We are covered by false ego. We are covered by avidya. See, there are five, we could say, layers of ignorance. The first is avidya, meaning the soul is disconnected from our self-awareness. The soul is always somewhat aware, but when it's covered by avidya, means avidya, non-vidya, non-knowledge, then it stops thinking as a soul. So then when it stops thinking as a soul, then you have to have some other identification, because you have to be somebody. The soul is always somebody. If I forget that I'm a soul, then there's the next step, asmita. Asmita means a sense of being, but it's a false sense of being. And we heard many times, we think we are the body, that we are the body, we think we belong to this, to that, to the family, to this dynasty, to this country, to this or that. So that asmita. Then, because we start thinking of ourselves as something, then there is raga and vesha. There's attraction to something, and there is
Repulsion.
a repulsion for other things. Like naturally, if I think I'm Indian, when there is a cricket match, India, Pakistan, I'm sorry if Pakistan wins. Actually, it doesn't make any difference because it's just a little ball thrown by grown-up people. But because I have this thing, I'm Indian. If Pakistan wins, I feel very bad, and if India wins, I feel good, because that's raga and vesha. But what is raga and vesha uh, uh, is based on? On asmita, this false sense of self, false identification, and that false sense of self is based on avidya. If somebody lives, say, in America, most Americans can give a hoot about cricket. They don't care, because they don't care. Many people in America, they don't even know that cricket as a sport exists. And for them, India, Pakistan doesn't mean anything for them. So why for us is important? I'm not saying for you. I'm just saying in general. It could be the cricket, it could be a political party, it could be this or that. So, and then avidya, asmita, raga, vesha. We understand raga, attractions, vesha, repulsion, material love and material hatred. And then the fifth aspect is abhinivesha. It's a complete absorption. It's a complete absorption in a set of identities which manifests as fear of death, because we are attached to a certain environment, to a certain identity. And obviously, all these identities we know, because we know that will be finished. And so we feel always in danger, we feel always in fear, and basically we are completely packed in this matter. But that's a default system. Everybody's like that. So the bhakti yoga, it's a process of freeing oneself from this type of conditioning, but it's a serious process. It's not just a religion that, okay, I accept God, I pray to God, I go here and there, some mosque, some church, some temple, okay, I pray to God. That's good, but that's not the science of bhakti yoga. That's just basically just being civilized. So if we want the benefits of bhakti yoga, we need to practice seriously. Just like I was giving the example of a student of medicine. You cannot just, do one exam every 3 years, or read, you have 10 books, you read one, or you read half. It's like you'll never become a doctor. So that's just the nature of things. It's not just bhakti yoga, it's everything. Everything. Even you want to get married, there's so much discipline. You got to go to the parents, and you got to do this and that, and you got to have some place to live, and then you have to show yourself that you are a pleasant person. Either you're a woman or man, there are different masks. You got to, go through so much rituals just to get married, which cats and dogs do without.
They don't get married.
Well, some animals, they do, they stay together all life. But I'm just saying, there are so many complications, whatever we want to do in life. Even having a baby, it means years and years and years of commitment, years and years and years of hard work. So when I say knowledge means clarity, you call it a different way, knowledge, I don't mean only information. Oh, I know this, I know that, I know the other thing. Knowledge means clarity, consciousness. No, because consciousness, in one sense, is synonym. What do I know now? That's why I like very much this title, Krishna consciousness, because it's not just an acceptance that you sign up. Okay, I tick this box. I paid my dues, and now no, it's Krishna consciousness. Am I conscious of Krishna now or not? It's either I'm conscious of Krishna or not, or I'm conscious of Krishna at different degrees of intensity. No, maybe I'm just conscious of Krishna. Okay, I'm not doing any gross sins. Okay, I'm not eating meat. I'm not smoking. Okay, I'm kind of okay. I'm obedient to God. But do I have that internal drive that, yeah, I like the holy name, or I like to preach, or I like to do the puja, or I like to go and tell others about Krishna. So each of us, and it's a very, we could say, honest thing. Everybody can say, I have that attraction, or how strong is that attraction, or I'm a little bit, a little bit weak in that attraction. It's not a priest that should tell you. I mean, priest can, brahmanas, priests, teachers, mullah can help us to remind, to rekindle the knowledge. But ultimately, we can see where we are. So what we are thinking is what we are.
Yeah, I think you've answered my question in the sense that it's how you identify yourself. That knowledge needs to be there.
Yeah, the sense of identity is the deepest thing, and the sense of identity is also the first thing to go. To go meaning the sense of real identity in this world is the most fragile, because we are covered with false ego, and that connects us with matter. So it's like we are trapped. Huh?
You said most. I didn't get the last bit you just said.
Most fragile, because we are already trapped. We have this false ego, which connects us to matter, although we have nothing to do with matter, asangoyam purusha. But the false ego is an element, very subtle, that connects us to matter. Then we have the mind, which thinks so many things. and then we have the body, which also demands so much attention. And so definitely it's to remind us of our real self. It's a work in itself, because everything kind of conspires against us. Everything.
It's like you have to change your desire. When you're in material life, you've got certain desires, right? So you really have to change them and you go into more spiritual enlightenment.
Well, no, I mean, many desires are kind of legitimate. Say, for instance, you love your child, that's legitimate, that you like to stay with your child. You don't have to change the desire. In other words, you say you're a mother, you like your child, you love your child, you want to spend time with your child, you want to spend money on your child. So you can keep all those desires. There's nothing wrong, but you spiritualize them. So when you go and read to your child at night, you read the Krishna book. Don't read some Brothers Green nonsense. So, but still, it's the same desire. I want to stay with my child. I want to spend time with my child. I want the good for my child. So it's the same desire, but you spiritualize. You want to cook for your child. You want to give him some sweet, but you give some halava or some prasadam like that. So you want to travel with your child. You take it to some temple, some pilgrimage or some other. So in other words, it's not that we have to fight. Certain desires are sinful. Okay, so we need to tolerate them and kind of distract ourselves from them.
Mm.
But many desires are just no. It's like you want to have a nice house. It's okay without exaggeration. But you want to have a nice house. You can afford a nice house. You buy a nice house. But then what you do? The best place you give for the altar, and then
Mm.
Krishna conscious, you bring people to your home, and then you have kirtan, you have bhajan. So you want a big house? Okay, if you can afford it, it's not sinful to have a nice house. If you have a lot of money, you have to put this money somewhere. So to put in a house, it makes sense, even economically, because you don't lose anything. Probably the house you buy today, 20 years would be valued more. So it's not sinful to have a nice house. It's not sinful to love your children. And so on and so forth. You want to dress nicely. Yes, it's a material desire, but you have a role in society. You have an example to give, so you dress nicely. Try to do it for Krishna. So you're decent, you're chaste, you're modesty, but you want to, if you can afford nice clothes, what's the problem? But it shouldn't become like the focus or the obsession
Yeah.
or the goal. You have a nice, I heard Sri Prabhupada say, first a dress, then a dress. If you want to present yourself as a devotee, it's good that you dress nice. You don't dress in rags, because that's not respectable. So many desires are compatible. Many desires are compatible. You want to make so much money. You mentioned before, I don't know if you're talking about you or in general. You want to make much money, then you donate it. Don't just put it in the Cayman Islands or in Liechtenstein. No, you make a lot, you have that passion, make a lot of money, And when you make a lot of money, make more money. But then don't just tuck them away and then you die and then it goes to somewhere who knows. Make a lot of money and donate a lot of money. The other day I was having a meeting. We had people, there is one devotee who gave $30 million to his school. $30 million. And he keeps making money. And he keeps making money, keeps donating money. And a lot of projects which we hear about, actually it's his money. And it's in the back. He doesn't need any recognition. And his nature and his karma is to make money. He just makes a lot of money. And he already donated $30 million. So if you are into making money and you have that desire, make money. Desire to make money. But then donate it. And so there's no problem. So we should not be like Buddhists that, we need to kill desire. No, certain desires we can add Krishna to the desire, and it's fine. It's fine. Otherwise, it may become very artificial. It may become very hard-hearted. No, not this, not that, not this, not that. Then we become hard, and we become brittle, and we become bitter. Instead, you want to love your child? Yeah, love your child. What's the problem?
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you so much for coming on our Sangha today, Gita Connection. It's usually for women. You're the first man to join this thing. Actually, what happened, why I invited him, or he invited himself. I was feeling a little bit like I really want to speak about Gita, but my consciousness is not strong enough. And I was just sharing with him, look, I felt very affected by some situation. I'm not sure if I should do the thing. And then he started like preaching to me. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. And he's like, oh, maybe I should come to your Sangha and speak. I said, yeah, please answer my questions there. So I invited him. So he helped me to kind of come out of that. I mean, this is a thing I would like to end with today. Our minds can get affected by any small thing. See somebody, talk to somebody, and something happens and it really gets affected, triggers. But with Gita, like talking about Gita now for this time and listening from him and reading the purport of Prabhupada and your question and the answers, it really uplifted me immediately, like almost. I feel what I was thinking about before the class is so irrelevant. It completely changed my perspective, everything that we were discussing. But without this, it would have taken me maybe, I don't know, 3 days to really get back to that grounding. So yeah, Gita is very powerful. Just that it gives a perspective of what's really important in life and gives a perspective of what really is, am I going towards the purpose, not just going into tamoguna, depression or sadness or worry, but lift ourselves up with knowledge. So that's what Gita does. Thank
Well,
you,
I
Gita.
wish you're welcome. I wish I'd heard all of it. Because I looked at my, what's happened. I thought, oh, maybe you're not having the class today. And I just happened to look again and said, oh, you're having a later class.
Yeah, it was my fault. I was thinking it's at 7:30. I was thinking 7:30. It was actually at 7 because I was a little bit hungover. I was having my hangover. and he was talking to me and I said, oh, let's do this. So yeah, thank you so much for joining.
Maybe Prabhu can come again and you let us know.
Yeah, I will.
There's something from Sujata here.
Yeah, let's read it. Let me read it. Okay, this is one of our participants. This is Sujata. She's on a train. I obviously came in right at the end and heard the part I was meant to hear. Yeah, that's Gita, right? I like the perspective about not feeling bad about making money or having a nice house. Guilt-free. If put you right purpose. I didn't get the last sentence.
Our rishis have always said, haven't they? Make as much money, somehow it gets lost somewhere in there, but they've always said that do really well materially as well.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sujata. Thank you, Sananda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Govind. We'll see you Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.